by the Beatles. You know, this song is great for bar chord exercise. It really strengthens your bar chord, helps you with flexibility, reaching other notes on bar chords, and it's just an all-around fun song to play and sing. So let's get started. Here are the chords you'll need to play I Feel Fine. The riff is based off of bar chords. So we have a D bar chord on the 10th, a C bar chord on the 8th, and a G bar chord on the 3rd. And you'll be manipulating the notes of those bar chords to play the riff. You also have a D7 that you'll need, and a C7. And then for the bridge section, you'll need a G, again, a B minor, a C, and a D7. Here's the tablature for the main riff of I Feel Fine that starts off with a D chord on the 10th fret. The entire riff is played with major bar chords. The pattern of notes here that's done on the D chord repeats for a C chord and a G chord. So if you can memorize this pattern and play it on a D chord, you can play it on the next chords with no problem. Let's break the riff down into manageable chunks. First, it starts off with a D bar chord on the 10th fret. The first note struck is the root of D. The next note is the 12th fret of the 4th string. That note is struck twice. The next note is the 10th fret of the 4th string. So you do that by removing your pinky. What you're going to do is pull off. So you're striking that 4th string on the second hit, you're going to just pull off your pinky. The next note is the 5th string, 12th fret. So you're not moving any fingers for that one. The next note is the 12th fret of the 3rd string. You do that by moving your pinky down one string. Now take off your pinky. You'll be hitting the 11th fret of the 3rd string. The next note is a stretch, the 14th fret of the 4th string. Back to the 11th fret on the 3rd string. That's basically the whole riff. And then you slide down to the C chord on the 8th fret from there. One more time. And then it continues with the same pattern on the C chord and then on the G chord. You're basically going to do the same series of pull-offs and changes with pinky fingers and reaches to 2 frets away, basically, with your pinky finger. Let's look at the whole opening riff. The pattern for the verses basically starts with the riff now played on the G chord. So it goes, baby's good to me, you know, she's happy as can be, you know, she... So I played that twice on G. And then I'm going to slide up to D. She said so, I'm in love with her and I feel... That's the D7. I'm in in love with her. C7, and I feel fine. Riffing on the G again. So that's a pattern for the verses. Twice the riff on G, once the riff on D, D7, C7, another riff on G. Let's look at the chords in the bridge section. Basically G bar chord, B minor, C, and a D7. For the strumming section of the bridge, you're basically going to downstrike on the bass note of whatever chord it is. So in this example, G for starters. And then it's 2 and 3 and, 1, 2 and 3 and, 1, 2 and 3 and, 1, 2 and 3 and, on the rest of the notes of the chord. To the B minor, the downstroke will be on the 5th string now because the root's on the 5th. 1, 2 and 3 and, 1, 2 and 3 and. So that 2 and 3 and is down, up, 1, down, up, 1, down, up, 1, down, up, C, D7, root note is now the 4th string. Here it is at full speed. I'm so glad that she's my little girl. She's so glad she's telling all the world. Here's a guitar solo. Then back to the riff. The guitar solo starts off with this shape, which is basically the 7th fret on the 3rd string and the 6th fret on the 2nd string. And it's built off of a 7th chord, but you're just playing these 2 notes. What you do is you slide up to the 7th fret on the 3rd string and then strike the 2nd string. And then slide up 2 more frets, and then slide up 2 more frets on the 3rd string, and then hit the 2nd string again. So it sounds like this. And then back down, do the same first 2 notes again. And then you're pulling off on the 3rd string from the 7th fret to the 5th fret, and then on the 4th string from the 8th fret to the 5th fret. So it goes like this again from the beginning. Repeats again. And then back to the riff. So that's the whole solo right there. The opening note to the whole song is that A note that rings out. Basically how you make it is you put your finger up close to the nut, just so your finger's touching that A string. It's going to dampen the sound a little bit. Give it a nice firm strike, and it kind of rings with that muted tone. On the recording, you hear a little buzzing that happens. You can get that to happen if you just gently graze the ringing string with your thumbnail. And it works even better on electric guitar because you get that feedback from the amp and you can really let it ring out. Can't really do it good with this acoustic, but that's how you do it. There are a couple of variations that happen on the riff in the song that you can add just to add some color to your playing. For example, on the D, instead of playing, you can throw in. Basically what I'm doing there is I'm hitting the 6th string, then the 4th string, the 10th fret, up to the 12th fret, and then adding that pinky note. So it goes. I'm kind of walking up in a sense. And the other thing you could do is bounce back and forth between that pinky note and the note on the 3rd string.